Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news. Is Marcus Rashford up for sale for Manchester United? A TCHOUAMENI transfer blow. Aaron Wan-Bissaka could be on the go. And two updates from two Tier 1 journalists in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo and his future at Manchester United. Plus a lot more. Loads to get into tonight. I hope you're all doing very well. A little bit earlier tonight because Champions League, I'm doing a watch along on Matt's Football. If you want to join me there, we're doing a lot of chat on there from 8 o'clock. But look, let's fly into it. Marcus Rashford up for sale. This is coming from the Telegraph. We're going to delve into that. But before I do that, you can see I'm in my Boohoo Man clobber. It's not Monday night, it's Tuesday night, and today's show is sponsored by Boohoo Man Active. We've got a nice little thing for you to get involved with. Boohoo Man Active is all about looking good and feeling good, and I think we can all agree that I'm looking very dapper in my top this evening. Boohoo Man Active is all about performing at your best, and I think we can all agree that United had their best game in a while last night. So that is why Boohoo Man want to know which three players from the starting lineup last night had the highest passing accuracy across 90 minutes. So we're not including sub players here. Who had the highest passing accuracy out of the starting team last night, top three. So get in the chat and let me know which three players you think had the best passing accuracy in last night's game. I actually would have guessed this. But remember, if you want to perform at your best like United did last night, then why not check out the Boohoo Man Active range by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the description. And remember, you can use the code EXTRA at checkout and you'll get 40% off, plus you will get an additional 10% off the discount that's been applied. This extra 10% applies to everything on the site except for certain sale items. Thank you very much to Boohoo Man as always. And if you want to get this top, you can do that as well. Boohoo Man Active range, some fantastic bits you can get. 40% off with that code EXTRA. Lots of you talking about Matic or Mata having the highest. You're wrong. Highest passing accuracy isn't always about the best player. We need to, this needs to be done. Third place, Lindelof. Second place, Varane. First place, Scott McTominay with 97.5 pass accuracy with 80 passes. And I would give him a shout out there. 80 passes from McTominay when normally he's getting 40 just shows a bit of an improvement in his game. A lot of his passes were straightforward, of course. He's playing as a holding midfielder. He should be making passes, and he doesn't make many forward passes, but he did make some forward passes last night. So fair play to McTominay. He had the best passing accuracy, but obviously there's not a lot of risk in that. So Matt McTominay won it. If you got that one, well done. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. Love the way they're always interactive and looking to get involved in relation to what we are, a United channel. And actually, the Boohoo Man Active top I'm wearing is in United colours. 40% off with the code EXTRA. Link in the description, or hold your camera up to the phone hold your phone up with your camera on, scan the QR code, it will take you straight there. Right, let's get into the show. Got a bit of a poll going on at the moment as well. Will Ronaldo stay at United? 82% of you saying yes, 18% saying no. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment because we've got updates from Ornstein and Romano on the Cristiano Ronaldo situation. But I want to start off with a story that I missed this afternoon. The Telegraph talking about Marcus Rashford and saying that it's almost considered by both parties that it could be a good move for both sides to part ways. Rashford leaving, Man United being on board with that. So it's interesting, isn't it? I think, look, I know what my opinion is on Rashford and I know what I've been told about Rashford, but it's interesting that the Telegraph are talking about it because they're quite a credible paper in the UK, and basically for them to be saying that both parties may consider it's best for both parties to part ways is quite progressive in relation to Marcus Rashford and his future. And what I would say about Rashford is, before we get into the the detail of it, should Marcus Rashford leave Manchester United? Well, why shouldn't he? If he wasn't Marcus Rashford from the youth setup with all the stuff he's done off the pitch and all the social media following and all the noise that comes with him and the superstar that he is off the pitch and has been on the pitch, that's the thing that possibly stops Marcus Rashford leaving Manchester United. Actually, looking at the last 2 years, if he was Dan James and we'd bought him for 15 million from Swansea, we'd be saying sell him this summer. It's only because of Rashford's past and status in the club that people are thinking, well, we won't get rid of him. If you actually judge it on his last 2 seasons, and especially this season, and especially the last few weeks, Marcus Rashford up for sale or leaving United wouldn't even be a big story. It's only because he's such a big star player at United that selling him is like, oh my God, we're going to sell Marcus Rashford. But actually, we probably should be looking to sell Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford should probably be looking to leave. If you can't even get on the pitch with all the injury problems we've got at the moment, like last night, then you're obviously doing something really wrong. So look, Rashford and Manchester United parting ways probably isn't a bad idea. But I'll tell you categorically, it's not going to happen. Manchester United have got absolutely no intention of selling Marcus Rashford, so much so that they've had conversations with Erik ten Hag about how they get the best out of Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, for all the noise about looking for moves and the phone ringing off the hook and all this, that and the other, they've got no intention of leaving Manchester United. In fact, they're desperate for conversations about a new contract. They're desperate for a conversation with Ten Hag with reassurances about being involved. Because look, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Marcus Rashford got picked whether he had a broken leg or not. I mean, Rashford, the amount of times Ole picked him was ridiculous when he wasn't even fit. So he's gone from basically being undroppable to being dropped a lot. So Rashford wants reassurances on his future, and Manchester United want reassurances from Ten Hag that he's going to be given the best opportunity. So Rashford's not leaving Manchester United. He doesn't want to leave Manchester United. Andrew Oakes, welcome to the Members Club. And I think Gary Neville said it a few weeks ago as well. Marcus Rashford needs to realise where his bread is buttered. And as big a superstar as he is off the pitch with all the great work he's done in relation to food poverty and the books that he's written and the awards that he's had, that's a very different world when you're not a Manchester United player. The exposure you get is very different when you're not a Manchester United player. You leave Manchester United and the exposure you get is dependent on how good you are as a footballer. At Manchester United, you don't have to be a good footballer to get a load of exposure. And we've seen that with Rashford and Lingard and many other players as well. So there is absolutely no way that Marcus Rashford wants to leave Manchester United, and there's absolutely no way he'll be asking to leave Man United in the summer, and there's absolutely no way that Manchester United are going to try and sell him this summer. So it's a non-story really. The funny thing is, if I did a poll, and let's just end this Rashford poll. I mean, I meant to do it before we started. If I said to you, would you sell Rashford in the summer? Well, I'm going to have to answer that. Should Rashford be sold this summer? Live chat, it's there for you as a poll. Welcome to Members Club, Andrew Oakes, by the way, thanks for joining. Let's see what you say about that. I'll answer the question. Should Rashford be sold this summer? Controversially, no. I would just see I'd give him one last chance. Whether he deserves it or not, look, I don't think a lot of you agree with me on this, but I would give him one last chance. I don't forgive him for this season. I think he's been a disgrace at times, and I know that's a harsh word on a player that I really like, but his attitude has come across as being wrong, very wrong. Saw it against Chelsea, saw it against Man City, seen it a few times, not acceptable. But I would give him another chance. He has been one of my favourite players at United over the last few years, and I would give him one more chance, but I'd probably be in the minority with that. In fact, I can pretty much see that straight away, because should Rashford be sold, we've had 2,000 votes already. 71% of you are saying yes. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of these polls through the summer, by the way. There's going to be a lot of transfer chat, of course, ins and outs. So they're going to get even more interactive, these shows. So thanks everyone who's involved in the chat, even if you're just voting. So yeah, look, Rashford's not going to leave. Ray says, what do you think about maybe moving Bruno to the wing full time and trying Sancho as the 10? I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. I think Sancho can do that. I think Sancho is the sort of player. I think Sancho's quite similar to Mata, actually, in the fact that he can move the ball around quite well. So, yeah, it's been a Mardy day for everyone today. Tuesday after the bank holiday, says Freedom. We've been busy. You know. We've done 3 shows today. Loads and loads to talk about, which is unusual, but I don't think it's going to be unusual over the next 3 months. I think it's going to be relentless news. And we won the Champions League. If you tuned in, thank you very much. On my FIFA career mode, it was a very weird stream, but we did win. This season he has been woeful for half a decade, says James, talking about Rashford. Yeah, I think Rashford will be given more time, to be fair. Just on Ronaldo, let me just tell you about that. Ronaldo, so we've spoken about Ronaldo on every show today, and I've been quite consistent saying that Ronaldo's not made his mind up on his future. I'm 90% sure he will stay, and that's where I sit on this. Well, David Ornstein has said he's had no indication that Cristiano Ronaldo wants to leave. And Fabrizio Romano has said that Cristiano Ronaldo is totally respectful to Manchester United. He just wants to speak to Ten Hag and find out what his vision is. before any conversations about staying or anything like that. So actually, he's been respectful to Ten Hag by saying, look, let's have a chat first before I start saying I'm staying. So I think, Romano and Ornstein, two of the biggest names in transfer news, and they're saying that Ronaldo, there's no indication that he's going to leave. So that's a good update from them in relation to him, and it stays consistent with what we've been talking about. I think Ronaldo at this moment in time looks very much like he will be staying at Manchester United. Dan says, if the club are smart, they would sell him with the buyback clause. Chelsea have done with Tammy Abraham. If he does gain from that, why not, says Dan. I mean, look, Marcus Rashford, before we move on, 70% of you said you'd sell him, 30% say keep him. That's not the best. 50-50 is quite not the best for Rashford, really, is it? When half the fan base or half of the community here are thinking, let's get rid of him, but 70% are saying get rid of him. I think that's quite interesting. The thing with Rashford is, when you look at it, probably 2.5 years ago, we're talking about Marcus Rashford breaking Wayne Rooney's goal-scoring record. We're talking about Mason Greenwood breaking Wayne Rooney's goal-scoring record. Neither of them are going to do it. Rashford's not going to do it, is he? He's just not going to. I don't think Rashford will break Wayne Rooney's goal-scoring record already. I can just tell he's not going to do it. He's nearly 25 now, and he's nowhere near breaking it. And Rashford, to me, looks like a player that's a confidence player, isn't he? So he's going to have dips in his career. Mason Greenwood might never play for Man United again. So neither of those two are going to break the record. So hopefully third time lucky with someone like Charlie McNeil or something like that. But Rashford, it wasn't too long ago that he was the great hope of Manchester United. At the moment, some would say there's no hope. But I think there is always hope. And he's definitely out of favour with Rangnick, and deservedly so. But there's always a way back. It will take a lot of hard work. But, people don't look at it from the other side. We talk about, should Manchester United sell Marcus Rashford? Should there be something in Marcus Rashford that says, I need to leave? I mean, there's no doubt if Rashford wanted to leave, there'd be a few clubs who took him across Europe, across England, and it might be the spark for his career. I mean, the worst thing is, and this is what I always say about the modern footballer, especially a lot of footballers at United, they surround themselves with the wrong people. We've seen that comment from Jesse Lingard's brother today. If I'm Jesse, I'm not happy about that. Even though it's the truth, it's his career. And if my brother comes out and starts talking about my career, it causes me shit. And not many people were sympathetic to it. So I'd be a bit pissed off with the brother and say, look, it's my career at Man United, not yours. And although you're right, you'd have been doing me a bigger favour by keeping your mouth shut or running it by me first. Now the brother can say it's up to me what I put on my own social media. I get that, and he obviously wasn't happy in that. And as his brother, it's his right to say what he wants to say. But you do wonder about the people around these players, and really maybe there should be somebody around Marcus Rashford saying, you only get one career. You've had a bad 2 years. A lot of that's been injury. Maybe go to a club where it is a fresh start, where people are excited about you. Maybe that's not a bad idea, but what if he doesn't leave and the next year or two are the same as the last year or two, and then he's coming up for 27 and your career's gone? So that's nothing to do with me, that's nothing to do with you, but I'm telling you now, Marcus Rashford, if he stays for another 2 years and it goes wrong, you basically do wander into Lingard territory where you're into your late 20s and you've blown it. You've blown it. What about a loan deal for Rashi, says Charlie Griffiths. I don't think United would be looking at for a loan for him. Would you be against taking a player like Jorginho or Kante for a couple of years for the first stage of the rebuild until we're re-established, says Joshua Bowwater? I mean, Kante is better than anything that we've got. I would take him, but I don't think United will be looking at that sort of player, Joshua. But yeah, I would take someone like Kante. Maybe not Jorginho, although again, he's a lot better than anything that we've got. I think he'll be going back to Italy. And obviously, I don't think we'll get Kante either. Talking about holding midfielders, Tchouaméni. Interesting story on Tchouaméni coming out from a Tier 1 Madrid source. That Tchouaméni, let me get the wording right here. Tchouaméni and his agent's priority is a move to Real Madrid. Now, I don't know. This is coming from a Tier 1 Real Madrid source on a Real Madrid aggregating site. And I think that in relation to Tchouaméni, if you'd said to me, where's Tchouaméni going to go? I always would have said Real Madrid. But there's been enough good journalists saying that Tchouaméni wants to play in the Premier League. So I feel a little bit frustrated by this, because if we were getting a story that Ricky was right, watch Ricky's fan cam. I'm not talking about Ricky was right. If we're going about Ricky was right, should we do a section on Ricky was right? Don't you think we should have Ricky on the show for that? Ricky was right. We're talking about transfers. Lingard has always been outspoken, great servant for Man United, but delusional. Some clubs might now see him as more trouble than it's worth, says Pratosaurus Rex. I think with Tchouaméni, I am a bit frustrated about Tchouaméni, because if he'd gone to Liverpool, I would have gone, well, at least the Premier League story was correct. But if Tchouaméni goes to Real Madrid, then this thing that he's coming to the Premier League is just not right. I mean, look, we're not going to get Tchouaméni, are we? We're too bloody. We're not right. We're not in for him. But if he goes to Real Madrid, it does feel like we've been led up the garden path a little bit, because it was only last week that people were saying watch out for the Premier League with Tchouaméni, and now it looks like he's going to go to the club that everyone always thought he would go to. Ruben Neves news says Ginger Fury 97. I think in relation to Ruben Neves, I would say that he is a player that was on Manchester United's list last year, definitely. And he may well be on Manchester United's list now. It really depends if he is on Erik ten Hag's list, because Calvin Phillips is a player that Man United have had on their list for quite a while as well. And as we've seen, that may be hot, that may be cold. We don't know with that. But I do feel that with Neves, it really will come down to whether Erik ten Hag wants him or not. I mean, I like Ruben Neves. Look, Ruben Neves ain't Declan Rice. Ruben Neves ain't Tchouaméni in my mind. He's a good player and he's better than what we've got. But I don't think he's definitely a successful player at United. There is no guarantees with transfers, but I'd certainly take him. Mark, would you take Eriksen based on how he is doing at Brentford and how good he was last night? He's on a free, says Andy and Bruno. Well, I spoke about it last night. Would I take Lamptey if available, says Opposite. Yes, I would take Lamptey. I've mentioned him as well. But no, I would take Eriksen, because ultimately you're replacing Wan-Bissaka, who's 34, and the place in the squad of Mata is a valued one. He's a number 10, basically. Wan-Bissaka was a number 10 who really didn't get used as a number 10. So bringing someone like Eriksen in would be a good idea. I suppose if you did bring Eriksen in, Mata goes, Lingard goes, Eriksen comes in. That leaves you with Bruno, Donny and Eriksen as your three options as attacking midfielders, because Pogba's gone as well. Remember, you can still pick two of those in the same team. You could put Eriksen to the right, Bruno to the middle. You could put Bruno to the right, Eriksen to the middle, and you can do the same with Donny as well. So I think Eriksen... I mean, look, if we don't bring Eriksen in or someone like that, you're going to be left with Donny, who's debatable whether he'll make it or not, and Bruno, who... it's debatable whether he'll fit into Ten Hag's system. So Eriksen would be a good signing, and I think it'd be somebody that Ten Hag would like. But remember, we've been linked to Nkunku as well, who's another player who could probably play as a 10. Why do people think Ronaldo won't work under Erik Ten Hag? Look how well Haller did with him, and Ronaldo is 10 times the player. Because people are obsessed, Jack, with Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's as simple as that. Like, people just cannot stop talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the problem. He's this. He's that. Can he work under Erik Ten Hag? And you're absolutely spot on. Sebastian Haller has worked under Erik Ten Hag, and Cristiano Ronaldo is the third top scorer in the Premier League. The worst ever Manchester United Premier League side, and Cristiano Ronaldo is the third top scorer. He's only one behind second, Son with 19, Ronaldo with 18, and he's only 4 off Mo Salah, who's number 1 in one of the best Liverpool sides there's ever been. So Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 18 goals in the Premier League for Manchester United this season, and he's only 4 off Salah, who's the top scorer for the Golden Boot. It's ridiculous what Ronaldo has achieved. And he would have comfortably won the Golden Boot if United had just been half decent this year. Is there any truth around Lingard coming to us, says Come On You Spurs? I mean, Lingard can go anywhere he wants to go. And we will react to this. But I've got to say, are you interested where Cavani's going to go? Where Lingard's going to go? Where Pogba's going to go? We will react to it, but we don't get any money for it. So I'm not really interested where Lingard goes. I mean, ultimately, if Lingard goes to Spurs and plays really well, will I regret it? No. Because there'll be some fans saying we never should have let him go, but he's had a whole season to prove himself and he hasn't done it. He has been given chances. If Paul Pogba goes and tears it up for Real Madrid, I mean, it's a little bit different with Pogba because he, the league might be more suitable for Pogba, or the team that we never really put Pogba with a decent CDM, and I think that's the problem. If Cavani goes and scores goals in Spain, well, he wasn't fit a lot of the time for us, so I'm not really interested where Cavani or Pogba or Lingard go. I'm probably more interested where Matic and Mata go, because they've actually delivered this season, and I wish the best for them, really. Hi Mark, this is a minority opinion, says Sean Finity, but I don't think Rashford should necessarily be sold this summer. Let Ten Hag meet him and work with him a bit, and Ten Hag will make the call, says Sean. I agree with you, Sean. We probably are in the minority, but I agree with that. And that's what will happen. There's no way Rashford's going to get sold. I know I said last week there should be a sacrificial lamb at United in relation to, we know certain players are going to leave the club, but I think it's been such a bad season that it would be a good idea to just sell somebody, really shock everybody, and maybe a Rashford or someone like that would shock everybody, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, 70% of you would sell Rashford. We've had nearly 8,000 votes on that. 30% say we know we should keep him, so interesting there. Talking about one player that we did bring in that was cost a lot of money and may well be going, I don't know whether anybody spotted this. Simon Stone retweeted it. BBC journalist put it out there that Crystal Palace and Wan-Bissaka loan deal makes a lot of sense. So that could be really interesting. I think that could be really interesting because it's the second time in a week we've heard about Wan-Bissaka and a potential loan deal for Manchester United, out of Manchester United. And I think that we mustn't be too hasty to dismiss loan deals. I think there's a mistrust about loan deals for players that we want to sell. If it's a loan deal for somebody like James Garner, it's developmental, and that's a good thing. Same for Ethan Laird and a few others. But when you loan out Alexis Sanchez or Andreas Pereira, it's a bit like a boomerang. You're scared of it coming back. And Wan-Bissaka going out on loan, I think a lot of people will be against it because they want to sell him. But we're not going to be able to sell every player. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka cost us 50 million quid. So if he goes on loan and plays well for Palace, then we'll probably get some of that money back in a year's time. So I think Wan-Bissaka would, on a loan deal, would be a good move for everybody. I don't think it's a loan deal that means if he plays well, he's going to come back and play for United. I mean, never say never, but we can't sell everybody. And I think if we tried to sell Wan-Bissaka this summer, we'd be lucky to get 20 million. Whereas if he goes on loan and plays well for Palace, we might end up getting 30 million for him. And somebody's paying his wages. So we might have to be patient with some of these deals. And it's a very interesting thing because it's coming from the BBC as well. The way Rashford's career panned out is sad, says Wang. A young talent that was ruined by Ollie and Woodward, given too much too soon and then left uncoached. Yeah, I think you've nailed it there. I think the lack of development and the probably overhyping in relation to exposure and wages, yeah, probably did. I've been watching Forest throughout the season, and it's incredible how well James Garner's performing. We'll be interested to see him next season. I've got it on the telly there, actually. I've got Bournemouth and Forest on the telly there because I'm doing the watch-along for Liverpool later, so I've already had it on, and it's a massive game, actually, Bournemouth and Forest, because I think if Forest win, they could leapfrog Bournemouth into second place and get automatic promotion. Whereas if Bournemouth draw or win, they will be in second place. But obviously, I've got it on for Garner. So, yeah, interesting to see what happens with that. How many signings do you think this summer we'll get? And who, says Ginger Fury. Welcome to the Members Club, by the way. New members who've joined today. I know a few of you have. And thank you very much for that. Click the join button if you want to join. And I've set up the playlist on the homepage now. So if you go to the homepage and you're a member, I had a couple of messages from members saying, where's the exclusive content? So if you go to the homepage now, which I'm just going to do, you don't have to go. It should be set up. So yeah, you go to the United Stand homepage on YouTube. You've got Man United News, which is this stuff. And then your second playlist is all the members only videos. So you can see there, Darwin Nunez, Scout Report, Nkunku versus Bruno, Chouameni, Timber, Anthony. So there's some exclusive content, deep diving stuff. We do one a week for you there on there. So thanks everyone who is a member. Don't do this to me. Oh God, it's just bloody. It has done it to me. Cheeky bastard. Chrome has gone home. Go home, Chrome. That's disappeared now. So I've got no live chat at the moment. I'll come back to that. But yeah, in relation to how many signings do I think we will make, I think I probably would have said 3 or 4 weeks ago, 3 or 4. I think now I'm of a mind to say 5 is what we need to do. I want to see a centre-back, a CDM, a striker, another attacking midfielder, and another midfielder. That's what I want to see. It might be 4. I'd like to see 5 because I certainly think we've got to see 10 go. So yeah, I'd like to see 5. Sean Turner says Ralph was right saying we need more attackers. Forget Nunez. We need dynamic attackers. City, Liverpool, and Chelsea don't. With a number 9 and Nkunku or Anthony for me with another lower profile striker, says Sean Turner. So yeah, not the out and out number 9. I mean, you could just, instead of Darwin Nunez, you could get Anthony and Nkunku. It's a little bit outside the box, isn't it? And use Ronaldo for the out and out striker, and maybe in different games play different ways. Garner comes back and brings Spence with him. Would be magical. He's immense in the Championship game after game. He's a fantastic player, flawless football, so much so that Bayern Munich were favourites to get him a month ago. Man United aren't actually looking for a right back at the moment, but I think he's tailor-made for Manchester United. I just don't think United will make that move unless we move a right back on. And this is what I mean about Wan-Bissaka. If Wan-Bissaka gets loaned off to Palace, you're left with Diego Dalot. It gives you a gap where you could go and... I think United need... I mean, look, is it a priority position? Probably not as... Well, it's not as priority as a centre-back and a midfielder and a striker. But if Wan-Bissaka did go on loan or Dalot did get sold, you need to buy a right-back. And therefore, if you buy a right-back, you put yourself in a situation where you can get into the market for a Lamptey or a Spence. And a Lamptey or a Spence, well, Spence will be cheaper, but might even be better than Lamptey. So I quite like the idea of it. Whether we'll put ourselves in the market or not to do that, I don't know. But if Lamptey and Spence both move this summer and United want to right... You've always got to look at the market, actually. There's a lot of good right-backs around at the moment, isn't there? And when you look at that, when you look at the right-back market at the moment, Reece James is at Chelsea, he's going nowhere. Trent's at Liverpool, he's going nowhere. Spence and Lamptey are available at the moment this summer. In a year's time, they're not available. So unless another good right-back comes through, you miss out. United should look to buy players who are not discovered. Players like TCHOUAMENI and Nkunku won't come as better clubs will want them, says Sidan. You've got to be in the race, though. I think there's a chance with Nkunku, I really do. Unfortunately, selfishness is a big part of Rashford's game, and I feel that it can't be coached out of him. It would be best for everyone if he's sold. It would also make the rebuild exciting, says Pritam. How much do you think you'd get for Marcus Rashford if you sold him, by the way? I know a lot of you... I can see the live chat now, yes. Thanks, Mihir. How much? I know 70% of you said you'd sell Rashford, but how many of you? How much do you think we would get for Rashford? I think 2 year left on his deal, 60 million. 60 million quid. What sort of club would Rashford suit? I think you're right. I'm not talking about him as an individual. Ronaldo was a selfish player. You know, there's no doubt about that. I think Rashford is a selfish player, and I think Neymar's a selfish player as well. I think maybe Mbappe is a selfish player. Look at PSG. I think the reason they can't win the Champions League is because their front three isn't fluid. Maybe it's got too many selfish players who play. You know, they want the glory. There's nothing wrong with selfish players. But Marcus Rashford probably is a selfish player in the sense that he wants to get a shot off. He wants to get his head down and run at people. And Man United need... Maybe Rashford and Ronaldo don't work in the same team because they're not similar. Of course they're not similar, but they're both quite selfish players. Matthew Gartell, member for 20 months. Thank you very much. What do you think is the most crucial thing United achieve next season, says Braden. I think Champions League qualification is the most important thing for Man United next season, and we've got 2 bites of the cherry, Europa League and 4th place, and I think that's what United need to achieve. One thing Ricky was right about is that next season the focus should be to get 4th place, even though I don't think we should expect it. We expected top 4 this season, we're going to finish 6th. Let's not go into next season expecting top 4, but I do think it needs to be the aim for Manchester United next season, and if we achieve that, then it gives us a nice platform for the season after that, definitely. Who the hell is going to spend 60 million on a player who can't pass, says Lee. I mean, look, I do think somebody would spend 60 million on Rashford. I do. I don't know who. I mean, look, PSG apparently quite like him. I'm sure they'd spend 60 million on him. He won't go to Paris, but I think it would be an interesting move for him. I certainly think he would get on quite well in that league, to be fair. Bye-bye, AB. Go and swivel. Matt Oakes, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. FA Cup and Europa in first season for Ten Hag. I disagree with that, you know. I think the Europa League might be an achievable trophy, but look at the FA Cup. You know, look at the FA Cup final. It's Liverpool and Chelsea, and the semi-final was Liverpool and Man City. Look at the Carabao Cup final. It was Chelsea and Liverpool. These top teams are not taking these trophies lightly. So to win the FA Cup, you've probably got to beat the best teams in England anyway. So Europa League might be our best chance of a trophy next season. We need to win a trophy. Ten Hag's got to win a trophy. Not necessarily in his first season, but we've got to win a trophy. We've been 5 years without one. Anyway, look, I've got a set up for That's Football. We'll continue the conversation on there. I've got Forest Bournemouth on, so if you want an update on what's going on with that, I'm live on That's Football in 10 minutes' time. Just going to put Seb to bed, and then we'll get set up for that. Go to That's Football for that. Hi Mark, love the channel, but as a manager, what would be the best way to get the best out of Rashford? Says Armin. I mean, he's got to change his game. It's a great question, that. How do you get the best out of Marcus Rashford? You've got to change his game. He's got to learn how to pass. He's got to learn how to get his head up. He's got to learn how to be less selfish. He's got to be more of a team player. He's got to go back to the basics. We've been saying it all season. Can he do that, or does he think he can come out of his form by becoming the old Rashford again, where he's shooting from all over the place and running past players? I think he needs to become more of a team player. Should Laird and Garner go back on loan if both their teams get promoted, get them a full Premier League season? Jack, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that is a good idea. Look, thanks everyone for watching. I could chat all night, but I need to get on That's Football in 10 minutes. So make sure you tune in over there. Don't forget, the code EXTRA will get you 40% off with Boohoo Man. I'm wearing my Boohoo Man. This is a Boohoo Man tracksuit top. You can get it with Boohoo Man Active and loads of other great things. Go to the website through the link in the description, or hold your camera phone up and hold the phone with your camera on. Scan the QR code. It will take you straight there. You've got a few minutes to check it out, actually, before I'm live again. Use the code EXTRA and you can get an extra 10% as well as the 40%. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. Big shout out to our community as always. I'll see you on That's Football in a few